Shown here are images of peace, with each one holding a different context, a different foundation, a different background. But still, they are recognized throughout the world, sharing similar interpretations and evoking similar emotions. However, as their individual contexts become blurry, emotional reactions towards these images are adjusting as well. The peace sign, the dove and olive branch, and the hand gesture are all images that represent peace worldwide, thus exhibiting power. Even though they are visually and physically different from one another and have different foundational contexts, they represent the same idea and evoke similar emotions of passion towards harmony. However, this power is decreasing. The images are forming into a context too general and becoming more of a fashionable style than a pure signal for peace, resulting in fewer people being familiar with the original context. The capability of these peace symbols evoking deep emotions from people throughout the world is therefore diminishing, thus possibly de-symbolizing the symbol. Here is the image of a peace sign. It was designed specifically for a British campaign for nuclear disarmament in 1958. It was in protest against the British Research Centre for the Development of Nuclear Weapons. This image represents the military code symbols of the letters N and D for nuclear disarmament. However, they are flipped upside down to exemplify the protest against it. Military code upside down signifies anti-military. The code symbols are surrounded by a circle, which indicates nuclear disarmament worldwide. The image of the dove and olive branch has a different context than the peace sign. While it represents peace as well, it engenders more of a religious point of view. It may be considered one of the most recognizable symbols because of this. The image is from the biblical story of Noah and the ark. After the rain stopped flooding the earth, a dove was able to bring back an olive branch, which illustrated a new peaceful land. This image is a very natural one, which symbolizes its presence and therefore its power, as Diana Eck notes. This last image is a hand gesture for peace. It shows a forefinger and a middle finger held up in the form of the letter V for victory. It developed in Europe during World War II as a symbol of freedom from occupying forces. In the 1960s and 1970s, it represented victory for peace and truth. The peace sign, dove, and the hand gesture are images of peace that hold significantly different contexts but share the same understanding. This is similar to Diana Eck's explanation of darshan. One does not simply see the deity, they understand it as well. There are many forms of darshan in the Hindu tradition, and therefore many points of view or perspectives on the truth. Although each has its own starting point, its own theory of causation, these ways of seeing share a common goal. All three images of peace have a different starting point, but they all share the same universal ambition towards world peace. According to the Oxford Dictionary, peace means freedom from disturbance, tranquility. It is the freedom from or the ending of war. This is a universal desire, what everybody wants to live life by. These images have represented our desires. We understand the meaning behind these visuals even when we have never actually experienced it universally. Believing in world peace through these images is what has illustrated the sacrality and emotion within them. While it has never happened and may never happen, we have faith that it can happen. As Friedberg says, degrees of reality force us to think about the ways in which the image partakes of reality, and about the extent to which they may only be said to act as a reminder, as a token. These peace images can be a degree of reality and a reminder to promote tranquility. They give one hope and faith towards a peaceful society in the emotional context. Diana Eck expresses that not only is seeing a form of touching, but it is a form of knowing. It is an image physically seen that empowers its legitimacy. It makes the idea more tangible, more reachable in society, and strengthens one's faith in it. However, the individual contexts of these images are becoming less known and therefore less meaningful. The dove and the peace sign are becoming more utilized as a fashion style. They are now frequently seen on necklaces and t-shirts, weakening emotional reactions for peace. It is more popular nowadays to think a peace image looks pretty, or is usual in today's society, than to feel a powerful emotional response of desire towards world peace. Most people do not even know the original context behind these visuals anymore. The popularity and more ordinary use of these images are decreasing its power. Peace signs are now more commonplace, causing an indifferent reaction to them than what used to be a fervent emotional response. They are not solely images yearning to implement world peace anymore. They have other intentions for use. Friedberg notes that a significant part of holy images is the psychology of response from their viewer. The response from peace images are changing as their contexts are becoming more unclear. This image conveys the symbol under its original context of evoking passion to promote harmony. One feels touched and has faith when looking at the photo. In contrast, the picture here entices a different emotional reaction. One does not feel the enthusiasm towards peace when looking at this portrayal of the peace image. It is too commonplace for these emotions to be stirred, evoking an indifference towards the peace hand gesture. Somewhat recently, people worldwide are making use of this hand gesture, specifically when pictures are taken of them, and not under the intention of promoting world peace. The change in context causing a different emotional reaction is universal. Both of these photos limit strong emotions towards harmony. The importance these symbols used to evoke onto most people has become altered. Friedberg claims that those that pertain between the beholder and the image we call holy, and then move on to how contexts change and beholders differ. One can argue that these images fluctuate in context by becoming more of a fashion symbol or a socially accepted hand gesture that is intended to look cool rather than supporting world peace. Peace visuals used to initiate emotional desires towards world harmony, but as they become more fashionable and more utilized as a social norm, their contexts are changing, therefore altering emotional responses from these images. We can't help but wonder what this increasing lack of emotional passion towards peace signs mean. Is the hope for peace diminishing, or will the sustainable universal recognition of these images be able to maintain it? Peace visuals used to initiate emotional desires towards world harmony, but as they become more fashionable and more utilized as a social norm, their contexts are changing, therefore altering emotional responses from these images. We can't help but wonder what this increasing lack of emotional passion towards peace signs mean. Is the hope for peace diminishing, or will the sustainable universal recognition of these images be able to maintain it? Do all cultural societies realize growing indifference towards these visuals, or is this change in context proof that the understanding for peace is not universal and therefore might never be possible?